The day the water turned clear. Chapter 1. The Backyard Kingdom. My name is Caleb Morrison, a semi-retired software engineer with more passion for pool maintenance than for Python scripts these days. After decades of coding late into the night and debugging lines that made less sense than a toddler's bedtime story, I decided it was time to slow down. I settled in Maplewood Estates, a neatly trimmed slice of suburban America where everyone's grass is exactly 2.5 inches tall. The mailboxes are uniformly bland, and the HOA rules are etched into stone tablets somewhere. My personal temple? A backyard pool that glistens like a sapphire under the midday sun. It's not just water, it's my sanctuary, my gym, my zen garden with a diving board. Chlorine has practically replaced the blood in my veins. Chapter 2. The Stranger with a Smile. It was a Tuesday, hotter than a car hood in Texas, when I first met Julian Carter, our newest neighbor. He strolled over while I floated aimlessly in the deep end, mentally debating whether it was Benedict Cumberbatch or Matt Smith who played Doctor Strange. Julian had that effortless charm, tall, athletic, with a laugh that could thaw the Arctic. More importantly, he had a presence, a calm, grounded aura. He also happened to be black, which I mention only because, unfortunately, that would become the axis around which everything spun out of control. "Afternoon, Caleb," he called, his voice rich and smooth. "Water's warm," I said, waving him in. Julian cannonballed into the pool with all the elegance of a rhino on a trampoline, splashing me straight out of my floating daydream. We laughed, talked swimming styles. He was a collegiate swimmer. And yes, we finally remembered it was Cumberbatch, not Smith. Chapter 3. Trouble in Flip-Flops. And then came Linda Hallcroft. Now Linda. She was Maplewood's very own self-appointed sheriff. A bleach-blonde bob, floral dress tight at all the wrong places, and sunglasses she wore like a crown. She marched onto my property without knocking, armed with righteous indignation and a clipboard that screamed, "I need control." "I need to check the water quality," she snapped. I blinked, thinking she was joking. "Excuse me." "The pool water. It's my civic duty. I'm on the HOA's pool monitoring committee." First of all, we didn't have a pool monitoring committee. Second, she'd never once shown any interest in water safety. Third, she was lying. "Linda, I treat this water better than I treat my own coffee. It's been tested this morning." She ignored me. Her gaze landed on Julian. "And who is this?" "My neighbor, Julian Carter. He just moved in." "Is he swimming in the pool?" "Yes." She tightened. "He can't. Not until the water's been checked properly." Julian, bless him, looked genuinely concerned. "Is there something wrong with the water, ma'am? I can get out if I'm not supposed to be here." Linda's face twisted. "You need to get out. Now. You're trespassing." Chapter 4. The Call That Changed Everything. That's when I lost my patience. "Linda, he's my guest. You're the one trespassing. Please leave." "I will not," she shouted, dialing her phone. "There's a suspicious man in the pool. I don't feel safe. Send someone now." Julian's eyes widened. "Is this really happening?" "Just ignore her," I whispered. "She's performing." But ignoring Linda is like ignoring a car alarm in your living room. She paced, yelled about public safety, accused Julian of being dangerous, and waved her arms like she was landing a plane. Chapter 5. When the blue lights arrived. 15 minutes later, a police cruiser pulled up, lights flashing. Two officers stepped out, both with the tired expressions of men who knew they were walking into a circus. "There he is," Linda cried, pointing dramatically. "He refused to leave. He's threatening the neighborhood." One officer raised his hand. "Ma'am, please calm down. We need to understand what's going on." I stepped forward. "Officers, I'm Caleb Morrison. This is my home. Julian is my guest." Linda entered without permission, and she's the only one causing trouble. Linda started her monologue again, citing non-existent HOA rules and imagined dangers of black men in swimming pools. One officer turned to her. "Ma'am, you don't have any authority to be on this property." "I'm protecting the community," she barked. "If you don't leave, we will arrest you for trespassing." "You can't arrest me. I pay taxes." "Last warning. Fine." Arrest me. Chapter 6. The Fall of Queen Karen. Then she lunged toward the pool. I swear she thought her body might somehow purify the water through sheer audacity. Instead, she tripped over the garden hose, flailed like a broken windmill, and fell headfirst into the pool. A splash. Silence. Then chaos. Turns out Linda hadn't swum since grade school. Her arms thrashed. Her hair flattened like a golden helmet against her forehead. Julian and I stood frozen for a moment. Then the officers pulled her out. Dripping, red-faced, and gasping, she looked like a soggy raccoon. "I'm suing you all," she screamed. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for trespassing and resisting arrest." They cuffed her as water dripped from her fingertips like dramatic punctuation. Julian and I stared as the cruiser drove off, her screams fading behind closed windows. Chapter 7. Legends of Maplewood. Within days, it was all over town, the pool incident. Some even called it the baptism of Linda. She tried to sue everyone, me, the HOA, the cops, even the city water department. Every claim was thrown out. She got fined for wasting court time. The HOA quietly relieved her of duties, including her invented role as pool czar. Maplewood residents avoided her like expired coleslaw. Meanwhile, Julian and I were treated like neighborhood celebrities. People dropped off muffins. Teenagers asked for selfies. Even the HOA president shook my hand and said, "We needed this." Julian and I kept swimming. The water never felt better. Chapter 8. The Letter. About a month later, I received a letter from a law firm. Apparently, my great-aunt Eleanor Caldwell, a woman I had never met, had left me an inheritance, a massive estate on the edge of town. The catch? I had to turn her mansion into a community center. A community center? Me? I almost spit out my lemonade. But after the pool incident, something inside me had shifted. Maplewood needed a place that encouraged connection rather than suspicion. I accepted. Chapter 9. The Grand Opening. We transformed the old mansion into the Caldwell Center for Community. It offered yoga, language classes, tech help, cooking workshops, and yes, a community pool. And guess who showed up on opening day? That's right, Linda Hallcroft. She stood by the pool, shoulders hunched, sunglasses off. She looked smaller, less aggressively blonde. "Caleb," she said softly, I want to apologize. For everything. I was stunned. I expected rage or another lawsuit. But not this. "I accept," I said. "We all screw up. What matters is what we do next." Then I shocked myself. "Linda, how do you feel about helping out here?" "I need a program coordinator. Someone organized." Her eyes widened. "You want me to work here? I think you've got something to offer. And I believe in second chances." Chapter 10. Redemption Chlorinated. And you know what? She was good. Surprisingly good. Linda managed the center with military precision. She launched literacy programs, senior movie nights, and a kids' swim safety workshop. She never once mentioned the incident, and neither did I. But sometimes, I'd catch her watching the pool with a wistful expression. One afternoon, I walked over. "Linda," I said, "why don't you get in? The water's fine." She hesitated, smiled, and nodded. "Okay, Caleb, I think I will." And so, the woman who once called the police because a black man dared to enjoy a summer swim finally climbed back into the pool. This time, with peace in her heart and a genuine smile on her face. Epilogue. Ripples. Maplewood Estates changed that year. The community center became a symbol, not just of togetherness, but of how easily fear can turn into friendship when you let it. Julian still comes by. We still argue about Marvel actors. And sometimes he brings his niece, who's now taking swimming lessons from Miss Linda. And me? I still maintain that pool like it's the crown jewel of suburban America. Because sometimes a pool isn't just a pool. Sometimes it's where healing begins.